Inside a luxurious casino, the MC's partner calls out to him as he watches everything from the upper floor. The woman then turns and asks the guy what he was staring at, just standing there. But he simply replies that he was just thinking about a few things. In that moment, he imagines what it would be like if people's lives were just cards in a game of chance. The MC says it would be incredible to be able to change someone's fate with just a wave of his hand. His partner comments that the rich people there don't have a care in the world and that money solves everything for them. But she notices her partner hasn't moved an inch and is still standing there looking down. With that, the woman hurries him along, saying the boss is going to get on their case if they don't get back to work soon. Sam then snaps out of his trance and wonders what on earth he was just doing standing there. His eyes lock onto a specific man sitting at the gambling table down below. The random dude is a guy with a mob boss vibe having a good time while playing with a cigar in his mouth. Seeing that face gives Sam a flashback, and he remembers his mother in a moment of desperation. In his memory, the same man was chasing him and his mother while the two tried to hide. The memory intensifies, showing the silhouette of someone being viciously attacked, and it all ends with the image of that horrific scene reflected in a piece of broken glass. Filled with rage, Sam decides he's going to take this goon out, quick and painless. Meanwhile, the guy's target is downstairs counting his money with a timer about to run out. The exact moment the clock strikes 9, the man flips a coin and the action begins. Out of nowhere, an explosion rocks the casino's main hall, startling everyone there. With the impact of the blast, dozens of playing cards start flying everywhere. In the middle of the confusion, Sam appears, holding 2 playing cards as if they were weapons. With a look of pure vengeance, he says the guy has been dodging justice for 10 years, but not anymore. With that said, the MC grabs one of his special cards, getting ready to strike his target. He then flings the card with insane force, turning it into a lethal projectile. The card flies at high speed, cutting across the hall toward the floor below. The projectile zips past a woman who doesn't even realize what just happened. The card continues on its unerring path, dodging people and heading straight for the mobster. Then time freezes as the card slices across the target's neck, making a precise cut. Seconds later, the man's body slumps onto the table and his henchmen panic, screaming about an assassin. With his revenge complete, Sam remembers the moment he found his mother in that terrible state. Tired, he finally says that he did it and that it was all for his mother. Just then, one of the target's henchmen picks up the King of Hearts card that was used in the attack. This so-called henchman is actually a mysterious guy with purple hair who analyzes the crime's calling card. The scene then cuts to the MC, who has already managed to slip out of the casino unnoticed. Now outside, we see the guy walking through a dark alley to avoid raising suspicion. He thinks that with so many cards flying around, no one will ever suspect which one he actually used. Now his only goal is to get the heck out of there as fast as possible before the cops show up. But along the way, some thug with a baseball bat stops him and calls him kid. The thugs say they saw him leaving the casino and asked to borrow some cash for gambling. The MC knows he could take them out, but he doesn't want to draw attention and expose himself there. To avoid trouble, the guy agrees to give them the money and says he'll get it for them. Losing patience, the thug grabs his backpack forcefully and starts digging for the cash. He rummages through everything inside the MC's bag, trying to find anything of value. But all the thug finds is a wooden doll, and he starts making fun of the kid. Angrily, Sam demands he give it back, saying it's the only thing his mom left him. Unexpectedly, one of the thugs gets ticked off and lands a solid punch right in the MC's face. The impact sends the guy flying backward, leaving him a bit dazed from the blow. The other thug yells that he hates the look in Sam's eyes while tightly gripping the wooden doll. Suddenly, something bizarre happens, and the doll starts bleeding from its head in the thug's hand. Next, the small statue's eyes begin to glow with an intense yellow light. The glow gets brighter and brighter, signaling that something very weird is about to go down. Sam's feet are planted firmly on the ground, but the asphalt around him suddenly starts to crack. The MC stands still as the entire scene around him begins to distort. Completely lost, the guy looks around and wonders where on earth he's ended up. A close-up on his face reveals that Sam's eyes have also turned yellow, just like the doll's. A mysterious voice questions his identity, as it senses no elemental power in him. Meanwhile, the two thugs are completely terrified, with no clue what's happening. The scene fades to black and someone starts calling for Asura in the darkness. The MC is now in a grassy area wondering how he got out of the alley and ended up here. Then a green-haired woman appears talking about being the next chief of the World Tree. A white-haired elf named Nikki boasts to Sarah about her archery skills. But this Sarah is actually our MC, who has somehow ended up in her body. He figures it's all just a dream or a hallucination from the hit he took. The other elves find it weird that she's slapping herself and whisper that they must have scared her. An older elf tries to calm the situation, saying that compassion is the most important thing. The MC questions the whole bow thing since he's never even touched one in his life. Nikki then challenges him, and Sam decides to accept since to him it's all just a dream anyway. The white-haired elf makes it clear she can't use magic, only her elven eyes and instincts. She then prepares to shoot, saying the target is just 100 paces away. With her bow drawn, the elf concentrates to land a perfect shot. But before the arrow can hit its mark, the MC catches it midair with incredible skill, shocking everyone. He stops his opponent's arrow with just one of his hands. In that moment, his eyes turn red again, and he remembers what he did at the casino. He remembers the card he threw to get his revenge and take justice into his own hands. With a confident smirk, he says that archery is second nature to him, like he was born knowing it. With incredible strength, he throws the arrow Nikki shot back at the target. The projectile hits a fruit on the tree dead on, splitting it perfectly in half. All the other elves are left with their jaws on the floor at the pinpoint shot he just made. Nikki and the others are in shock, unable to believe the absurd skill they just witnessed. But moments later, the guy faceplants on the ground and complains that this elf body is a real pain. Suddenly, the scene shifts back to the alley, and the MC tells the thugs to get out of his way. With his eyes glowing, he says he's going back to the tribe and threatens to use real magic. The two thugs are totally confused by the kid's bizarre attitude, but soon they start laughing, thinking the kid's lost his marbles from the hit to the head. Annoyed, one of the guys orders the other to grab Sam, thinking he hasn't been roughed up enough. Ignoring the threat, the MC begins to recite an incantation about the spirit of life. He then asks for the power to control his own life, placing a hand over his chest. His eyes glow again with an intense yellow light as he prepares to attack. Finishing the spell, he yells for a seed to grow and launches a burst of green energy at the guys. Seeing the magic happen, the two thugs are completely terrified by the scene. Startled, the thug's eyes go wide, having no idea what's going on. But Sam's magic fails miserably, and only a few green sparks fizzle out of his hand. Desperate, the guy wonders where all the power he felt before has gone. At that, the thug gets angry and asks if the kid is trying to mess with them. The two then charge at the MC to give him a beating once and for all. But to the guy's surprise, he manages to dodge the punch with absurd ease. Using an agility he didn't know he had, he does a flip in the air, escaping the attack. His feet touch the ground lightly and he braces for whatever comes next. He then realizes that his body feels much lighter and faster than usual. Just then, a blue screen appears in front of him with a success rate of 2%. As he dodges another punch, a +1 number appears floating next to his head. With that, the screen updates and the success rate climbs from 2 to 3%. The MC then understands that if he dodges the attacks, the percentage will increase. Knowing this, the guy calls the thugs back for another round, now much more confident. And so, he begins to masterfully dodge every single one of the thugs' blows. Dodging everything, the success rate hits 70%, and Sam decides to attack. The thugs are already exhausted and regretting ever messing with the MC. With the high percentage, he prepares to use the magic again, now with a better shot. Looking at the guys, he commands the power to let him use the magic he needs. With the elf spirit helping him, he casts the seed growth spell again. This time, the magic works, and the thugs' eyes widen at what they see. Vines and leaves begin to sprout from the thugs' mouths as they scream in terror. The magic causes enormous watermelons to grow all over the alley, immobilizing the two guys. The MC is a little freaked out by the result, but quickly regains his composure. One of the thugs begs for help while the MC picks his doll back up from the ground. He notices that the wooden sculpture looks a bit like him and finds the whole thing very strange. Sam then decides to investigate the energy he felt from the other life tree to understand things better. Walking through the city, he notices there are no plants anywhere in this place. The guy observes the people around him and notes how weak and lifeless they seem. He finds it strange that no one there looks like they've ever seen a real battle in their lives. He concludes that this tribe was forced to live on the outskirts because of their low life force. With this in mind, he decides he's going to find their leader and learn how he rebuilt his people. Suddenly, the MC hears someone yelling about goblins and capturing a woman. Looking to the side, he sees 3 young men whom he immediately associates with these so-called goblins. The guys are dressed up and talking about finding a girl that night. The guy remembers that goblins are the front line of every dragon storm. He realizes the goblins have already infiltrated the city and are disguised as humans. The scene then cuts back to the world of the elves, with the great tree of life in the background. An elf approaches and asks if Sarah is okay and if she's worried about the storm. Nikki joins the conversation, saying she'll wipe out the goblins and purify their souls. The MC then realizes that he's ended up in a world of magic with elves and goblins. And best of all, he realizes he brought a system with him to this new world. But the screen that appears in front of him doesn't seem to be a very useful cheat. The system shows a 70% mortality rate, which is basically a death sentence. Even so, he decides he needs to blend in with the elves without being discovered, no matter what. Nikki finds it strange that the MC is still following her and tells him to go to his treehouse. He then looks up and sees a very cozy-looking house, realizing that's his new home. Determined, the guy sees this as his first major test in this new world. But the other elves think it's weird that he's just walking in circles around the tree, not knowing how to get up. The girls keep making fun of him as the MC tries to climb up in a bizarre way. They think he's practicing some special move and Nikki bets he'll fall soon. And as predicted, he plummets from up high but gets back up as if nothing happened. After 3 attempts, he finally manages to climb up, and the elves are impressed by his persistence. 30 minutes later, our hero is finally safe inside his new treehouse. Inside, he finally gets some time alone and asks the system to open up in front of him. He decides to test the system and sets the death rate for the action of walking to 70%. The guy doubts that something as simple as walking could actually be fatal for him. But the moment he steps on the floor, the wood cracks in a very suspicious way. Next, the entire floor collapses and the MC falls right through to the level below. With wide eyes, he realizes that his system is far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Even with the floor collapsing, the MC thinks it was no big deal. But out of nowhere, a green energy surges in his chest, signaling that something else is coming. Suddenly, a ball of yellow energy hits him head-on, sending the guy flying. With the impact, he feels as if something has exploded inside his body. Next, a water vase from the upper floor starts to fall right toward him. The MC manages to dodge the object, which shatters into 1,000 pieces on the floor. With a sweaty face, he finally admits that maybe walking is a little dangerous. To make matters worse, a strange dragon-like creature crawls out of the broken vase. The creature stares at him hungrily, and the guy is at a loss for what to do. The monster then raises one of its claws and prepares to attack the MC. Without a second thought, the creature snaps at the guy with its sharp teeth, but the MC manages to hold the beast's mouth open with his hands to avoid being devoured. With a look of pure rage, he orders the creature to perish and stabs it with a shard from the vase. The little dragon starts to scream in pain and thrashes uncontrollably around the house. The elf who was with Sarah earlier shows up and manages to calm the creature, asking if she's okay. Amidst the wreckage, the MC says he's fine and that it's not his time yet. The elf apologizes for his dragon's behavior, saying he hasn't tamed it properly yet. Sam says he'll heal the creature later, as there's not much time for that right now. Confused, the guy asks what happened to be in such a rush, and the MC gets annoyed. The elf then reveals with a serious expression that the dragon storm has arrived. The goblin horde has already reached the edge of the forest, and they need to prepare. The two of them mount the dragon and fly away, getting ready for the imminent battle. The elf praises his dragon for obeying, and the MC encourages it to keep it up. He then realizes that the 70% death rate was no joke. The system interface changes and congratulates him for surviving, giving him 70 attribute points. The system asks if he wants to begin the enhancement, and the guy gets curious. Without hesitation, he chooses the yes option to see what these points can do. Strange symbols begin to float around his body as the enhancement process starts. A yellow energy envelops him, and he finally feels what it's like to have real magic. The system screen shows that he can now combine traits and elements to create new spells. The system shows a diagram of how to combine elements and traits to create new spells. The MC understands that losing control during the mixing process is normal for elves. He then decides to use the 70 points he earned to boost his traits and elements. The system informs him that when a trait reaches 100, it unlocks a special ability. With this, the guy gets the idea to manually set the death rate to farm for stats. Meanwhile, the elf says Sam will be fine since he has healing magic to use. The MC then sets the death rate of the next spell to 30%. With his hand on the ground, he prepares to use the seed mutation magic again. A yellow energy envelops him and he casts the spell with full force upwards. The magic hits the flying dragon, and the animal starts huffing strangely. Suddenly, the dragon does a flip in the air and throws the MC off its back. The elf screams Sarah's name in desperation as he watches his friend in freefall. The MC realizes that the same power spike and stamina drop happened again. Something that looks like a green whip shoots out of his back and starts moving rapidly. The whip wraps around the guy's body, holding him tight to prevent a fatal fall. The whip latches onto the dragon's tail, saving the MC from a certain fall. The elf scolds him, saying he's pushing himself too hard and that their job is to protect the forest. Exhausted and injured, the guy apologizes and says it won't happen again. His friend helps him back onto the dragon so they can continue on their way. The system congratulates him again and gives him another 100 attribute points, which he invests in Vitality. With Vitality maxed out, the system screen shows that his strength and agility have also increased. He gains new abilities exclusive to Life Elves and a major boost in magical power. The two finally arrive at the battle site, where a horde of goblins has already gathered. Mickey complains about them being late, saying they could have just stayed asleep in the treehouse. The elf asks about the situation, and the MC says he still doesn't have full control of the dragon. Miki says she heard the wind and that the disgusting creatures are approaching fast. The MC observes the other elves and wonders if there are other races in this world. He notices that the green elves are the most common and look like humans with pointy ears. The guy understands that as a life elf, he is one of the candidates to be the next chief. Suddenly, someone announces that the Elder and the Commander of the Knights have arrived. The Elder and Commander Beatrice arrive, flying in and landing on the battlefield with an imposing presence. The Commander draws her sword and yells for all elves to prepare for battle. With the order given, all the elves begin to line up in their combat positions. The first row is for mages, the second for warriors, and the third for archers. The MC thinks the goblins won't be a big problem since they are weak monsters. Commander Beatrice announces she will distribute the equipment and then assign the missions. The The elder then kneels and places a flower on the ground to begin his ritual. The flower starts to glow, releasing magical energy across the entire battlefield. The elder and the commander float in the air as the magic spreads to everyone. With a spell, the elder causes the flower of inspiration to bloom, strengthening the elves. The elder's magic envelops all the warriors with a golden aura of power. Magical leaves begin to fall, touching the elves, who wonder when they'll be able to use magic like that. Nikki catches one of the leaves in her hand and complains that the elder is just showing off. The MC catches a leaf too, and is amazed by the power it emanates. Nikki boasts about her hollow arrow, and Beatrice names her leader of the archers on the third front. The elf Cyan is named leader of the cavalry on the first front and celebrates his new power. Beatrice then assigns tasks to the other elves according to their abilities. A light elf helps the others to bloom the buds they receive from the elder. With the blessing of the sun magic, she makes the buds open for all the elves. From the flowers emerge swords and other equipment perfectly suited to each one's skills. The MC is a bit confused by the scene but soon understands what's happening. An elf with fox-like ears stares at him suspiciously, and he wonders what he did wrong. The girl says he's acting weird and that something seems off. The guy says he's just a little nervous, but the elf isn't convinced by his excuse. She starts to suspect something and the MC panics, thinking he's been found out. Our hero gets desperate, thinking his cover has been blown. The elf then asks if he's heard the news, and the MC gets defensive. She reveals that Sarah's arch-nemesis, the poison dragon, has returned, and the guy breathes a sigh of relief. Nikki explains that to surpass the other candidates, Sarah invaded the dragon's lair alone. But in the end, the real Sarah was the only one who came back alive from that mission. With wide eyes, the MC feels the tension in the air. Other elves start whispering, wondering if he plans to use them as pawns again. The guy finally understands that the real Sarah was hated for acting on her own. Looking at his system, he's shocked to see she only had 2 skills. The MC wonders how she dared to fight a dragon with so little power. The elder defends him and tells him to see what equipment the flower gave him. But upon opening the bud, all he finds is a sunflower seed. The elder pats his head to soothe him from the embarrassment. He says that seeds represent hope and that he must believe in himself. The commander then explains that they will use the forest terrain to set up traps. The strategy is to use 3 battlefronts to wear down the enemy army. With a hand on his forehead, the MC senses the enemies approaching and warns everyone. On the horizon, the poison dragon appears, leading a gigantic horde of goblins. The imposing monster flies over the army of goblins, ready for battle. The vanguard elves advance, and the commander orders everyone to move into combat. Back in the alley, the guys beg for their lives, saying they're not bad people. With a cold look, the MC tells them to spill their plan or meet their end. The guy threatens to finish them if they don't cooperate and tell him everything they know. Terrified, the 3 goblins disguised as humans start to break out in a cold sweat. With no choice, they agree to talk and tell the story of how it all began. They lament that they've never had any luck with women and cry in despair. The MC finds it strange that they call themselves goblins just for being unlucky in love. The guys get angry, saying that normal guys don't even get on girls' radar. The guy then tells them to try harder and keep at it for 100 years if they have to. The goblins cry even harder, thinking the MC is making fun of them. Losing patience, he tells them to stop crying and says he'll help them solve their problem. The MC then remembers a spell from Nikki that increases fertility in the forest. Nikki's wind of romance magic makes the trees blossom and life flourish. The magic is so strong that the elf Cyan complains his treehouse went into heat. With a wicked smile, the MC decides he's going to use this spell for his own plans. Suddenly, the MC's stomach starts to rumble loudly, and he has no idea why. The goblins think it's a hint to buy him dinner and pool their coins together. They take him to a restaurant and ask if the place is good enough for him. At the table, the guy is served a plate of dumplings he's never seen before. The MC finds the food strange, and the goblins are surprised he doesn't know the dish. One of the guys tells him about a sulfur pit that's a dragon's territory. The Crimson Sunfire Dragon is a level 3 beast, 1 step away from becoming legendary. The goblin says that the lives of the Western elf tribes have become a living nightmare because of it. The other goblins think he's speaking in code and tell him to continue. The MC then asks if they are also tracking the dragon's storm. The guys get offended, thinking he's implying they're addicts or sick. The guy eats a dumpling and continues the conversation, unfazed by their reaction. He keeps eating, and his eyes widen as he realizes something new. The success rate for his next action, which was at 0%, increases to 1. With this, he gets a brilliant idea of how he can use this to his advantage. He starts devouring the dumplings like a madman, ordering another 100 to everyone's surprise. The goblins are shocked by the guy's appetite and order 3 more servings for him. With his mouth full, he continues to eat without stopping for air. The 3 friends are terrified, thinking the MC is going to explode from eating so much. The success rate reaches 73%, and he can't eat anymore. He knows he needs at least 90% to copy Nikki's spell. Determined to get it, he asks them not to stop bringing him food. But as he's chewing on one of the goblin's shoulders, he's interrupted by someone. The mysterious purple-haired guy from the casino shows up and sits down at their table. He compliments the MC's face and asks for his name in a very forward way. Our hero is a bit taken aback by the mysterious guy's approach. The bizarre interaction makes the MC's stomach turn and he ends up throwing everything up. The purple-haired guy backs away in disgust, and the goblins are in shock at the scene. The mysterious guy says the way Sam talks seems hostile, and that he ruined a plan. He questions how the MC managed to escape the casino without anyone noticing him. The goblins freak out at the word murder and go into a full-blown panic. The MC realizes it wasn't just a gender swap but a soul transfer. He wonders if the previous owner of his body was the one who committed the crime. The mysterious guy calls him a low-level beast and tells him to spill what he knows. With a high success rate, the MC decides to show him a little real magic. His eyes glow, and he begins to cast the seed spell to intimidate the guy. The purple-haired guy watches the scene with a curious and slightly surprised look. But the magic fails again and the success rate plummets to 3%. The MC despairs as he sees his success rate drop into the negatives. He then calls for a truce, saying they can fight after he finishes eating. The purple-haired guy agrees and the two continue their meal civilly. The MC goes back to eating to get his success rate back up as quickly as possible. But the smell of the food makes him sick again, and he throws up a rainbow. Tired of puking, he asks what price he has to pay for the murder. One of the goblins, who's a law student, explains the legal process for a homicide case. The purple-haired guy says that a murderer pays with their own life. With a sinister smile, he confirms that the punishment for the crime is to meet their end. The MC is in shock at the revelation and starts to panic. At this, the goblin lawyer tries to fix the situation, saying there are other possible sentences. The mysterious guy gives him a death glare that makes him shut up instantly. The other goblins shrink back in fear from the man's terrifying look. Unfazed, the mysterious guy simply says that he understands the whole situation. The MC asks if there's any other way to resolve this without him having to go. The purple-haired guy runs his hand over the table thoughtfully. With a smirk, he says that of course there's another way. Our hero gets his hopes up and asks what that other option would be, but his hope is shattered when the guy says he doesn't deserve to know. Angrily, the MC throws all the dishes from the table at the guy. The mysterious man dodges with ease, keeping his provocative smile. In a swift move, he lands a hard slap across our hero's face. The blow sends the MC flying backward, breaking several tables in the process. He lands hard on the floor but manages to get up without any major issues. The goblins worry about the mess and say he'll have to pay for the dishes. The purple-haired guy approaches the MC, who gets into a defensive stance. Suddenly, the mysterious man vanishes into thin air, and our hero can't find him anywhere. In the blink of an eye, the guy appears behind him and hits him with a powerful kick. The blow sends the MC flying, breaking more tables and chairs along the way. The purple-haired guy hides under the table while Sam looks for him. The mysterious man says he's disappointed and that the MC is incredibly weak. He then pulls a deck of cards from his pocket and shows it to our hero. The guy challenges him, asking if that's all he can do as an assassin. With a wicked smile, he provokes him, telling him to try and take his life. Sam looks at the deck and remembers how he used the cards for his revenge. He takes the cards and begins to manipulate them with impressive skill. The MC wonders how such a light and soft tool can be so lethal. With a focused gaze, he concludes that the only way to do damage is by throwing them. Sam then flings a card with all his might toward the mysterious guy. But the restaurant owner appears and whacks the purple-haired guy with a ladle. The man yells at him and tells him to take the fight outside his establishment. At this, the mysterious guy punches the table in anger, shattering it into pieces. The restaurant owner is shocked to see the guy's absurd strength. Then the mysterious man grabs a piece of wood and prepares to retaliate. With a swift move, he strikes the restaurant owner, who falls unconscious. The MC gets a psychotic look on his face as he witnesses the violent scene. The purple-haired guy then turns to him and says they should continue their fight. He provokes him, asking if he's angry and threatens his life. The MC then throws another card, but the guy dodges it with ease. With a disdainful look, he says Sam's attack was too slow. The mysterious man continues to dodge the attacks, saying they're too straightforward. Finally, he criticizes him, saying his attacks are too weak to even touch him. The purple-haired guy asks if the MC is still trying to hold back. He then kicks the floor hard, kicking up dust and surprising our hero. Sam knows that if he keeps this up, he won't stand a chance of surviving. With a bruised face, he realizes he's about to really meet his end. The mysterious man grabs him by the head and lifts him off the ground with ease. The two stare each other down with intense looks, the tension in the air palpable. The purple-haired guy tells him to perish and prepares a finishing blow. With his hand in a claw shape, he lunges at the MC with incredible speed, but Sam manages to block the attack with his arm, much to his opponent's surprise. He celebrates having successfully defended himself from the guy's deadly blow. The mysterious man then launches another attack, but this time with energy needles. With his fingers, he fires sharp projectiles toward our hero. Sam narrowly dodges, a drop of sweat rolling down his face from the close call. The purple-haired guy then grabs his neck and lifts him into the air. By a hair's breadth, the MC manages to break free and escape the deadly grip. Suddenly, a third hand appears and grabs the MC's wrist tightly. The mysterious guy asks if he's still not going to use magic to defend himself. Hiding, one of the goblins recognizes him and says he knows who he is. He explains that the guy was the youngest magician to travel the world when he was a kid. The guy was a master of close-up magic, using cards, coins, and whatever else he could imagine. His sleight of hand was flawless, and no one could ever spot a single mistake. But his most famous trick was the disappearing act, which intrigued everyone. His final performance was making his own younger brother disappear from inside a cage. People thought it was a trick, but his brother was never seen again. The cage was left empty, and the boy truly vanished without a trace. The authorities investigated for a month but found nothing, and the case was closed. The magician became a suspect and disappeared from the scene, becoming an urban legend. The goblin states with certainty that the guy in front of them is the famous missing magician. The mysterious man reveals that it wasn't a trick but a real spell he created. He holds a card firmly and shows the power of his magic to everyone there. With a swift move, he kicks the MC, who dodges at the last second. Our hero says the performance will only be complete when he brings his brother back. Sam is shocked to realize that dimensional magic is from the space-time class. The magician then scatters his cards on the floor, and one of them stands out from the rest. He says the formation is complete and prepares for the next step of his plan. With a serious look, the MC realizes the guy in front of him is a major threat. The magician then challenges him to show his magic and see what he's capable of. Sam understands that the guy is using him to finish his spell and bring his brother back. The purple-haired guy approaches him and stares him down with a challenging look. The MC then says that even if he could use magic, this has nothing to do with him. He remembers when he was a child and asked his parents about the purpose of magic. His parents explain that magic is a gift from the world to protect the world itself. But when magic is used for selfish desires, it creates darkness and the dragon storm. They taught him that by using magic to protect what he loves, he also protects magic. The magician then asks what magic means to him, leaving the MC speechless. The magician replies that to him, magic means power, above all else. He says he wants to turn cheap tricks into real sorcery to liberate humanity. Angrily, the MC yells that that's the wrong answer to the question. He says magic isn't a toy for someone like him to abuse its power. The negative success rate warns him that his next action is doomed to fail. Even so, he casts the seed acceleration spell against the magician. The system alerts him that the spell casting failed miserably. The MC explains that when a spell fails, there's always a price to pay. A blast of light occurs, and the elemental backlash hits the magician head-on. The purple-haired guy is surprised by the unexpected force of the attack. The explosion throws him against the wall with devastating force. He gets up from the rubble, a little dazed but without any major injuries. The magician says he won't let the MC use magic again no matter what. With a tear in his eye, he approaches our hero menacingly. He says it's all for Sam's own good and to prevent him from becoming a danger to the world. The restaurant door is blown off its hinges by the force of the elemental explosion. Outside, the magician says he got the message and surrenders to the MC. With his hands up, he declares himself defeated in front of everyone. Our hero stares at him with a serious and suspicious look, wary of the sudden surrender. He then gets a piece of paper and a makeshift pen for the magician. The MC tells him to write up a contract, and the guy is confused. Sam says he won't finish him off if the magician promises to stop desecrating magic. The magician asks what he should write in the contract, and our hero gets annoyed. With smoke coming out of his nose, he explains what the guy needs to do. He tells the magician to write down his crimes and swear to never abuse magic again. The purple-haired guy writes a very formal and sarcastic apology letter. With a cute smile, he hands the paper to the MC, who takes it. Green energy begins to emanate from the paper as they both hold it. The magical contract activates, sealing the deal between them with an intense glow. The MC feels the power of the magic flowing and prepares for what's next. With the contract sealed, the magician is enveloped in a powerful green energy. His eyes glow with magic, and he says the sensation is very strange. He feels a force binding him, preventing him from using his magic freely. Suddenly, his magic reacts to a dimensional shift, and he feels a sharp pain. The purple-haired guy is confused and doesn't understand what's happening to him. He coughs up blood and realizes his hand is full of sharp needles. The needles he used to attack the MC have turned against him. Even injured, he composes himself and faces our hero with a mischievous smile. The magician turns and starts to walk away as the world around them changes. The MC then turns to the goblins and says they know what to do. Terrified, the three friends hug each other tightly, not knowing what to expect. Our hero points at the magician and accuses him of taking out an innocent person. The magician then grabs a piece of wood and attacks the restaurant owner. But it was all just a prank, and the piece of wood was just bread dough. The purple-haired guy makes a devilish face and says they fall for anything. He explains that the blood was actually just soy sauce he used for the trick. The MC and the goblins are left looking foolish, unable to believe the prank. The magician then wakes up the restaurant owner with a sharp tap to the neck. The man wakes up startled, with no idea what's happening around him. Completely lost, he asks who he is and where he is, much to everyone's amusement. The magician then grabs the MC and gets ready to leave the restaurant. He drags him outside, saying he doesn't want to interrupt their nightlife anymore. The two arrive in an alley, and the magician says they're safe there now. He reveals that he erased the camera footage and that our hero won't be traced. Sam then asks what the magician's real goal was in all that chaos. The purple-haired guy looks at him with a mysterious and enigmatic gaze. He extends his hand to the MC with an unexpected proposal. The magician invites him to join his team and help him explore the Sea of Trees. The MC is confused by the name of the place, and the magician finds his reaction strange. The guy asks why he took out that man if he doesn't know about the Sea of Trees. Not knowing what to say, the MC pretends to think and starts to panic internally. The magician explains that the Sea of Trees is a portal to the world of the elves. Our hero is shocked by the revelation and can't believe what he just heard. World of the elves, he thinks, repeating the magician's words in his mind. The purple-haired guy says the key to enter is a wooden figure just like the one he has. Sam hugs his doll tightly and says there's no way he's handing it over. He fakes a cough and says he was just kidding with the magician. With a sigh of relief, he agrees to join the guy's team. The magician introduces himself as Kim Ja-young and extends his hand to the MC. The two shake hands, sealing their new partnership with a formal greeting. Kim holds the handshake for longer than expected and stares at him. He holds onto the sleeve of our hero's clothes in a very familiar way. Sam is confused by the magician's behavior and doesn't understand what he's doing. The MC then says they're not that close for that kind of intimacy. Kim lets go of his hand with a sigh and agrees to follow our hero's rules. With the deal sealed, the two prepare to go their separate ways for now. Kim says he'll be there when the Sea of Trees appears and bids the MC farewell. He then discreetly slips a piece of paper into our hero's pocket. Sam is confused and doesn't understand what the magician just did. When he takes out the paper, he sees a phone number written on it and saves the contact. The MC looks at him with a serious expression and gets ready to leave. Alone in the alley, he feels free and ready to enjoy his new life. With stars in his eyes, he excitedly runs off to buy new cute clothes. Inside a store, he's captivated by the fabrics and the women's clothing. The saleswoman approaches him, and he says he loves that kind of vibrant clothing. With his eyes sparkling with happiness, he asks if he can try on the outfits. The saleswomen are a little creeped out by the guy's excitement. He tries on a pink dress and admires himself in the mirror, ignoring his own face. Next, he tries on a high-energy outfit and poses for the mirror. Finally, he puts on a white outfit and thinks it matches Nikki's vibe. A mysterious woman watches the MC in the store and thinks he's an interesting kid. On the phone, she says she hasn't approved him for the team yet, and that she has her own criteria. With a smirk, she listens to the person on the other end of the line. Kim asks her not to accidentally take out the kid and ends the call. He feels that the mirage of the Sea of Trees is getting closer and closer. Looking at the moon, he knows the time to act is coming soon. The woman hangs up the phone with a smile and a look that says she's up to something. With the MC's reflection in her glasses, she lets out a mischievous giggle. Kim calls her a crazy woman and watches the city from the edge of a building. He thinks about how powerful the magic contract is, preventing him from using magic. Just for thinking about breaking the rules, he feels a needle in his finger. The contract's backlash hits him even though he didn't cast any spell. He then gets the idea to use his own tongue to dodge the contract's needles. With a sinister smile, he imagines what it would be like to trick the magic contract itself. Back at the store, the MC shouts to bag everything up because he's taking all the clothes. Loaded with bags, he says he bought gifts for everyone and one for himself. He thanks the saleswomen and runs out of the store without paying for anything. The MC turns around and asks what money is, leaving the employees confused. The two are left speechless by the guy's bizarre question. They then get angry and yell at him to stop playing dumb and pay for the clothes. The saleswomen call him disgusting and try to get the bags back. One of them complains that he's making them waste their time and lose their commission. The mysterious woman appears and says she recorded everything on her phone. She threatens to post the video online if they don't show a little tolerance. The woman then offers to pay for the clothes to resolve the confusion. She approaches the MC and says that now no one will bully him anymore. The saleswomen are confused by the woman's attitude and don't understand a thing. Suddenly, the woman yells for them to run, and the two bolt out of the store. The saleswomen chase after them, yelling not to let them get away. The MC leaves behind a pile of shopping bags in his escape. Far from the store, the woman celebrates that they're safe and can breathe a sigh of relief. The MC says he needs to go back for his clothes, but the woman cuts him off. He's surprised by her action and doesn't understand how she got his things. Awkwardly, our hero thanks her and takes his jacket back. The woman stares at him with a mysterious look, analyzing him from head to toe. She compliments him, saying he has delicate features and that the outfit suits him well. With a sly smile, she gets closer and says she bets there's a beautiful soul in there. The MC is startled, and the elf living inside him is also shocked. The woman then suggests he wear makeup to enhance his natural beauty. She tells him to close his eyes and wait a few minutes for the magical ritual. With a makeup kit in hand, she prepares to work her magic. The MC covers his face with his hands, eager to see the result. The woman takes off her glasses and shows off her work with a confident look. When he sees himself in the mirror, he's amazed and yells that this is real magic. The woman says it's not magic but Eastern sorcery, and the MC begs her to teach him. The woman introduces herself as Hu Yan, a professional makeup artist with a lot of style. She tells the MC to close his eyes and leave the rest to her. With a brush in hand, she begins to apply makeup to our hero's face. Using various products, she promises that he will be reborn when he opens his eyes again. Seeing himself in the mirror, he's shocked at how beautiful he is now. With painted nails and a flawless face, he can't believe the transformation. Hu-yan invites him to enjoy the nightlife, and the two head out together. She takes him to the fanciest mall in the city to continue the fun. The MC is amazed by the bags and shoes in the window displays. Hu-yan pulls him along, saying there's much more to see on the upper floors. They arrive at a cosmetics store, and our hero is enchanted by everything. With sparkling eyes, he can't contain his excitement over the products. To him, this is a true divine kingdom of beauty, with everything he's ever dreamed of. The MC spots something new and asks Hu-yan what it is. The makeup artist looks at him with a serious expression and says it's time to make a move. Hu-yan prepares for her next move and ties her hair up elegantly. She takes off her wig, revealing vibrant pink hair underneath. The makeup artist then grabs a new outfit and starts to get dressed with style. With high-heeled boots and black pants, she adjusts her new look with confidence. She grabs a lipstick and touches up her makeup to complete her transformation. Hu-yan applies a new nail polish, finishing her nails to perfection. She admires herself in the mirror and smiles at the result of her makeover. With a brand new look, she walks out of the store and strolls through the mall with an imposing presence. Her presence catches the eye of everyone who sees her pass by in the hallway. The MC is amazed by the woman's beauty and compliments her out loud. He then turns to look for her, but she has already vanished from his sight. The pink-haired woman walks through the mall, turning heads wherever she goes. Three men follow her closely with serious and determined expressions. The MC wonders where she went and if she went into another store. The men confirm the target and wait for orders to move in and capture her. The MC continues his journey through the mall, carrying his shopping bags. He notices he's being watched and turns around to see what's going on. Suddenly, he's surrounded by a SWAT team, armed and ready for combat. The pink-haired woman watches him from a distance and reveals she turned him over to the authorities. She challenges him to prove he can use magic to get out of this situation. The police accuse him of assault and robbery and order him to surrender immediately. The MC looks around, confused by all the commotion around him. He points to himself and asks if they're talking to him. The officer warns him that they have proof and that this is his last chance to surrender. Sam takes a step back and prepares for what's coming. He decides he's not going to give up and gets ready to fight the SWAT team. With a determined look, he knows he needs to escape this situation. The MC then uses one of the shields as a ramp to jump over the officers. With an agile move, he kicks the shield and launches himself into the air. He uses the momentum to leap over the police barrier and escape the encirclement. With a flip in the air, he lands perfectly and continues his escape. He rolls on the ground and quickly gets up to avoid being caught by the police. The SWAT team pursues him and orders all mall exits to be blocked. The MC goes up the escalator, knowing that only magic can save him now. He then remembers a huge plant he saw at the building's entrance, a giant, illuminated Christmas tree that he can use to his advantage. If he can connect with it, the magic might help him get out of there. He runs toward a door and throws it open to get out of the building. Outside, he spots the Christmas tree and runs towards it. The police spot him and wonder what he's trying to do now. The MC then jumps from the 6th floor towards the Christmas tree. With a confident smile, he prepares to use his life magic. In midair, he casts a spell and summons a treant to help him escape. The police are shocked to see the suspect running headfirst towards the statue. The MC screams in despair as he realizes the tree is fake and crashes hard. Back in the world of the elves, the MC wonders what happened and how everything changed. The scene returns to the battle against the poison dragon and its horde of goblins. The dragon faces the elves with its glowing purple eyes and prepares to attack. With its mouth open, it unleashes a devastating beam of green energy into the forest. The attack hits the forest with force, destroying everything in its path. The trees are scorched and the landscape becomes a scene of total destruction. The MC is thrown back by the impact and hits the ground hard. With a look of despair, he gets up and faces the devastation around him. A giant goblin approaches the wounded elves with an axe in hand. He attacks the fallen elves without mercy as the MC watches the scene. A wolf-like monster laughs at the elves' misfortune with a malicious look. With his eyes glowing, he yells for the goblin to get its filthy feet off his people. Commander Beatrice appears and defeats the goblin with a single precise strike. She yells for the MC to get to the rear if he can't fight. With disgust, she kicks the goblin's head away and prepares for the next fight. Beatrice prepares to face a giant goblin with her metal magic. Her sword is enveloped in red energy, and she gets ready to attack. With a battle cry, she commands her weapon to sharpen and harden for the fight. She leaps and lands a powerful blow on the goblin, who looks at her in surprise. The monster gets angry at the attack and prepares to retaliate with full force. With a quick strike, it manages to defend itself from the elven commander's attack. The giant goblin smirks disdainfully, showing her its sharp teeth. Several smaller goblins surround Beatrice and attack her from all sides. The creatures advance with their red eyes glowing with rage and bloodlust. Beatrice concentrates and prepares to unleash her full power against the horde. With a blast of red energy, she launches a devastating area of effect attack. She yells at the other elves not to stop and to keep fighting with everything they've got. The MC is terrified to see the true face of war and its consequences. He looks at the sunflower seed in his hand and doubts his own abilities. But with a determined look, he knows he has to do something to help. He remembers that the Elder's spirit flower creates the item he needs most. With his eyes glowing green, he focuses his power on the sunflower seed. An intense light emanates from the seed, and it begins to grow rapidly. From the seed, a cute and energetic treant is born, ready for battle. But the creature hugs him and calls him mother, annoying the MC. With a determined look, he orders the magic seed to evolve into a stronger form. The treant's eyes glow with a new light, and it begins to transform. The creature evolves into a giant and powerful arrow tower, ready for combat. The MC tells the treant to attack, and the creature advances on a goblin. With a furious look, the treant prepares to finish off the enemy. It attacks the goblin with its sharp roots, defeating it with a single blow. The MC praises the treant, which affectionately calls him mother again. But our hero knows that a single treant won't be enough against the goblin horde. With green energy surrounding him, he prepares to use all his power. He uses the rapid growth magic and makes the seed evolve once more. The treants advance and attack the goblins to protect Commander Beatrice. The giant goblin is hit by several wooden spikes but doesn't seem phased. Beatrice gets annoyed by the monster's resistance and prepares for a new attack. She lands a fatal blow on the goblin, which falls unconscious to the ground. The treants praise the commander's shot but advise her to aim for the weak spots. They say they'll take care of the smaller goblins so she can focus on the bigger ones. A goblin sneaks up behind the MC and threatens him with an axe. With a sidelong glance, he prepares to defend himself from the surprise attack. He dodges the blow, and the goblin misses completely, falling to the ground. Beatrice defends against an attack from the giant goblin and prepares to counter. Suddenly, a messenger bird appears and warns of a major problem. The bird reveals that the poison dragon is approaching the tribe's tree of life. The commander is shocked by the news and realizes the gravity of the situation. She defends against another attack from the giant goblin and makes a decision. Beatrice orders the bird to guide her and flies off to protect the tree of life at all costs. With the commander's departure, the MC feels abandoned and alone in the battle. The commander flies away at the speed of light, leaving the battlefield behind. He then looks up at the sky and realizes he's on his own against the goblin horde. With a look of desperation, he concentrates and casts a healing spell on the wounded elves. The goblins advance, and the MC wonders if he was abandoned on purpose. A goblin's paw slams into the ground, and he braces himself to defend against the attack. The MC wonders if Sarah was the only one who came back alive because she was the one left behind. The elf's eyes turn red, and the image of his mother returns to his mind. He remembers the evil smile of the man who chased him and his mother. His mother's expression showed she would do anything to protect him, no matter the cost. Even though he's the one being sacrificed, he feels his mother's determination in his heart. With a cry of rage, the MC says that trash like him is the real problem. He then charges towards the goblins, preparing for the imminent confrontation. The MC summons the treants to help him defend against the attacks. The humanoid trees help him fight, and he knows he needs more branches for the battle. He finds the perfect branches for throwing and prepares to attack. With green energy surrounding him, he hurls one of the branches at the giant goblin. His eyes turn red with rage, and he focuses all his power on the attack. The MC then eats one of the branches to heal himself and regain his strength. He tells the treants to watch closely what he's about to do. With a swift movement, he throws a sharp branch at the goblin's head. The monster is confused and doesn't understand what just hit it. The treants' eyes go wide with surprise at the precision of the shot. The giant goblin then starts to laugh hysterically and mockingly. Suddenly, a second head grows on its neck to everyone's astonishment. The MC reverts the seed and orders an immediate tactical retreat. The giant goblin charges and attacks the elves with its giant axe. It strikes the ground with force, kicking up a cloud of dust and destruction. Our hero runs away from the blast, trying to escape the attack. A snake elf warns him that they can't fall back any further and must fight. The snake elf and her summon prepare to hold the defensive line. The MC realizes they've already reached the second line of defense. He's shocked to see that the first line of knights and warriors fell so quickly. The goblins advance in droves, their red eyes glowing with fury. The snake elf and her summon are surrounded by a horde of goblins. She scoffs at the enemies and prepares to counterattack with her snake. With a tail whip, the snake crushes the goblins as if they were twigs. The snake elf gets angry and says now it's her turn to attack with everything she has. With her sharp fangs, she screams for the goblins to perish once and for all. But her venom has no effect on the goblins, who have been blessed by the poison dragon. The MC is shocked by the news and realizes the gravity of the situation. The two-headed goblin advances and the snake elf screams for our hero to run. Her summon tries to protect her, but the goblin crushes it with a single stomp. A messenger elf arrives and warns that a fifth goblin ogre has appeared in the battle. The snake elf grinds her teeth in rage and prepares for the worst. The snake coils around the giant goblin, trying to immobilize it with force. The elf asks the MC for help, as they need to hold the line there. She says that as an elf warrior, she cannot run from battle. Our hero is shocked by her determination and doesn't understand her attitude. The snake elf says she's not afraid to perish, and that she will return to the mother of the elves. With a battle cry, she charges at the giant goblin with courage. Filled with hatred, she yells that she will finish the monster once and for all. The goblin stares at the elf with its bright green eyes and prepares to attack. He flicks the snake away with a simple snap of his fingers, and the elf is shocked. The creature flies through the air and crashes to the ground with a great impact. The MC is horrified by the scene and wonders why she didn't run. He doesn't understand why she chose to meet her end instead of saving her own life. The image of his mother returns to his mind and he remembers her sacrifice. Our hero wonders why she stayed and fought instead of running from that man. With a look of pure rage, he prepares to do whatever it takes to survive. A pool of blood forms on the ground, indicating the severity of the injuries. The snake elf tells her summon to flee, but it refuses to abandon her. A sharp leaf is thrown with speed and hits the giant goblin. The monster is hit in the eye and roars in pain from the surprise attack. The MC gets the goblin's attention and challenges it to a fight. With a determined look, he says that now he has the power to protect everyone. The giant goblin roars in fury and charges at the MC with everything it has. Our hero dodges the attack, and the monster hits the ground hard. The goblin turns and tries to crush him with its paw, but he dodges again. The MC then plants a magic seed in the ground and starts to count. The seed glows with a green light, and he continues the countdown. The goblin attacks him again, but our hero manages to dodge and escape. The snake elf yells for her summon to save the MC at all costs. The giant goblin prepares to attack the MC, who is down on the ground. But our hero yells that the trap has been sprung and the monster isn't going anywhere. With rapid growth magic, he traps the giant goblin with green vines. The monster is immobilized and can't move to attack the MC. The goblin stares at our hero with a look of surprise and anger at the same time. With the enemy trapped, the MC leaps up and prepares for the final blow. He drives a sharp branch into the goblin's eye with all his strength. With blood dripping, he says that his mother's will shall protect this place. In the sky, the poison dragon flies towards the tree of life at high speed. The elf Cyan wonders how the dragon managed to get past the defenses so quickly. He panics as he realizes the monster is heading straight for the tribe. Cyan and his dragon fly as fast as they can to try to stop the attack. The poison dragon looks down at the small dragon with a gaze of disdain and superiority. With its mouth open, it prepares to unleash its devastating attack. The creature flies around the giant dragon, trying to find an opening to strike. The monster then launches a powerful beam of poison toward the small dragon. At this, the elf Cyan is hit head-on by the attack and falls from the sky in free fall. Cyan's dragon narrowly dodges but is hit in the wing and starts to bleed. The creature plummets from the sky as the poison dragon watches from above. The elf realizes the power difference between them is too great to overcome. He realizes that not even the elders would stand a chance against the monster. The Tree of Life becomes the main target of the advancing poison dragon. The elves panic as they see the dragon attacking the tribe's sacred symbol. The monster launches a barrage of poison with several purple energy balls. The energy balls fall like meteors on the Tree of Life and the forest. The elves unite and prepare a counterattack with their wind magic. Miki prepares to launch her strongest shot, which will drain all her mana. All the elves launch their combined attacks to protect the Tree of Life. The poison balls explode upon colliding with the elves' attacks in the air. Miki is shocked to realize their combined attack did nothing against the dragon. All the elves together couldn't stop a single one of the monster's attacks. Despair takes over everyone as they realize they are about to be defeated. Beatrice flies towards the dragon with her flaming sword ready to attack. With a precise move, she launches her sword like a missile at the monster. The attack cuts through the air and collides with the dragon's poison balls in the sky. The commander faces the giant monster with courage and determination in her eyes. The dragon stares back at her, its purple eyes glowing with rage and power. But to everyone's surprise, the monster easily dodges the commander's attack. Miki panics when she sees the other poison balls heading for the tree. The purple energy balls rain down like meteors on the Tree of Life. The elder then uses his floral magic to protect the sacred tree. He creates a labyrinth of giant flowers that absorb the dragon's attacks. The flowers open and envelop the poison balls, preventing the destruction. The elves celebrate as they see the Tree of Life saved by the elder's magic. Beatrice lands on the ground and realizes they were the only ones to defeat their enemies. She turns to the elder and asks about the fate of the other leaders. With a sad look, the elder reveals that the others weren't so lucky. The elder says the dragon's strategy is ingenious but despicable and worthy of being ended. The commander says there's no other option, but the elder questions her about her sacrifice. Beatrice says the elven race is the most beautiful and the pinnacle of life and law. She claims that elves are the honor of this plane and that she is no different from them. She says that life or its end are insignificant. The commander prepares to sacrifice herself for the prosperity of all elves. The elder stops her and says the situation hasn't reached that point yet. He reminds her that the situation doesn't require her to throw her life away. Beatrice remembers when the chief summoned her before she left for the mission. The elder says the Life tribe is the oldest, and the Tree of Life is the cradle of all. The tree's beauty and strength represent life in its brilliant bloom. He tells the other elves not to fear, for the chief left behind a way to defeat the dragon. The elder says he just needs a little time to prepare the counterattack. The commander says she will endure all the dragon's blows until he is ready. She prepares to face the monster alone. Beatrice remembers a lesson she learned from the chief about the sacrifice of life. In her memory, the chief called her Little Red and the blade of her tribe. Beatrice then says that the blade exists only to protect what is important. With a look full of determination, she prepares for what is to come. She then yells for them to leave everything to her and charges at the poison dragon. The giant monster looks down at her with a gaze of pure disdain and superiority. With a powerful leap, she lunges at the dragon, sword in hand. The commander gets close to the monster's head, ready to deliver the final blow. But the dragon opens its mouth and an intense light begins to shine from within. Beatrice is hit head-on by the giant monster's energy attack. The elder screams her name in despair as he watches the terrible scene unfold. With her armor shattered, the commander falls from the sky in a powerless freefall. The MC watches the scene, horrified, unable to believe what he just saw. The poison dragon roars in triumph, celebrating its victory over the commander. Meanwhile, a single red rose petal slowly falls from the sky. A young Beatrice scolds the elder, telling him to stop saying scary things. The elder bites a flower and says that nothing is eternal, and the age of the old gods is over. Beatrice says he is a flower elf and has the blood closest to the chief. But the elder replies that because he is a flower elf, he understands flowers better than anyone. He picks a flower and says that a flower's only calling is to bloom beautifully. But after blooming, every flower is destined to wither and fall to the ground. He states that the end is a simple thing, and all elves will one day pass on. The elder says they will all meet again in the embrace of the nature god. He gently pats the young Beatrice, who gets flustered by the gesture. The little elf feels dizzy from his words but tries to compose herself. Beatrice says she is not afraid of meeting her end, but of failing to protect her friends. She declares that she will become as strong as the chief and prevent any end outside the tribe. The elder calls her naive, but the little elf is not fazed by the comment. With a flower in her hair, she asks if the ornament looks good on her with a smile. The elder watches the scene with a serene and thoughtful look about the future. The elder bites the flower in Beatrice's hair and says she is just his dinner table. He scoffs, saying that even though she's stronger, she can't stop him from eating the flower. Beatrice says the end is inevitable and that he must accept it to face everything in peace. The chief then says that the person who fears the end the most there is the elder himself. Beatrice accuses him of trying to convince himself not to care about passing on out of fear. She teases him, saying he trembles in fear in his treehouse every night. The elder is shocked by the accusation and can't hide his surprise. Beatrice laughs at his reaction and says he's embarrassing for being so afraid. The elder composes himself and says that a common elf like him still has his value. Beatrice then declares with conviction that she will protect him with all her might. She says she will become impossibly strong to protect all her comrades. The elder watches her with a serene and thoughtful look at her determination. Beatrice asks what will happen if she perishes on her way to becoming strong. She says she will make her end worthwhile and will pass on to protect what she loves. The elder looks at her with a gaze full of admiration and pride for her courage. Beatrice asks if the elder feels safer now that she has shown her courage. She teases him, saying she recorded everything and will show it to the other elders. The elder says that a flower's mission is to bloom in the season that suits it best. Beatrice stares at the giant flower with a look of shock and admiration at the same time. She thanks the elder for seeing her and prepares for what's to come. The elder offers his life as a sacrifice to summon the spirit of the flower. He says that being a flower and not a seed, he cannot bear the full power of the chief. The elder says his goodbyes and transforms into a giant, powerful red rose. Beatrice screams in despair at the elder's sacrifice and begs him to come back. The rose says she is the best knight and doesn't need to sacrifice herself to prove her worth. The poison dragon watches the scene with a furious look and prepares to attack. The battle continues, with the elves fighting bravely against the goblin horde. The goblins advance in droves, their red eyes glowing with hatred and fury. The elves fight with all their strength to protect their tribe and their home. The MC joins the battle and fights alongside the others to defend his people. The MC wonders why the goblins are fleeing the battle. He looks up and sees the poison dragon running from something in the sky. All the elves look to the sky and watch the scene in amazement. The MC is shocked to see the giant rose chasing the dragon, rose chasing the dragon. The elder's flower advances with speed and corners the giant monster. The dragon tries to escape, but the rose is faster and easily catches up to it. The elves are surprised to see the dragon being chased by a flower. The MC hides and watches the rose with curiosity and admiration. He notices there's someone inside the flower's bud and is even more surprised. Inside the flower, a red-haired woman is lying in a sensual pose. The elves are moved and announce that the chief of the tribe has finally returned. The chief's eyes open, revealing immense power and stunning beauty. With a wave of her hand, she prepares to use her magic against the dragon. She summons several red tentacles that wrap around the giant monster. A red magic circle appears in the sky, and the chief prepares for the final blow. The chief unleashes a beam of red energy that hits the poison dragon head-on. The monster is struck by the attack and roars in pain from the force of the impact. Suddenly, a mysterious man appears and says he has finally found her. He holds a bone staff with red energy pulsing around it. With the staff in hand, he prepares to face the elven chief. The man climbs a mountain and an intense light emanates from his body. A red aura surrounds him, and the chief recognizes him as an ancient divine elf. The elf says he needs her and invites her to join him on his journey. On his journey, the chief notices that the bones in his hand have a familiar scent to her. He reveals that those are the remains of the dream angel she defeated in the past. The elf says that's all that's left of the angel after the battle between them. He claims that every era ends in calamity and that the end of the elves is near. The chief tells him to stop with the grand speeches and prepares to fight. A red magic circle appears in the sky and their powers collide. The impact of the magic creates an energy explosion that shakes the entire forest. Beams of red energy rain down from the sky like a devastating storm on the forest. The magical rain hits the goblin horde with overwhelming force. The monsters are decimated by the attack, their bodies disintegrated by the energy. The MC watches the scene, shocked by the absurd power of the chief's magic. All the elves fall silent for a moment, unable to believe what they just saw. Suddenly, they start to celebrate the victory and the annihilation of the goblins. Our hero is amazed by magic that is stronger than a missile, but he realizes the poison dragon was unaffected and seems even stronger. The elven chief faces the monster with a serious look and prepares for the next attack. The mysterious elf approaches her and offers to lighten her burden. He drives his bone staff into the ground and a blue energy begins to emanate. The poison dragon roars in fury and prepares to attack the mysterious elf. A burst of blood occurs and the elf is hit head-on by the monster. The elf's remains fall to the ground as the Elder's Rose watches the scene. From the elf's ashes, angel wings begin to sprout and grow rapidly. With her red eyes glowing, the chief faces the angel with determination. The angel says the dragon storm is over and invites her to go with him. He looks at her with his blue eyes and a superior smile on his face. The MC falls to the ground from the force of the explosion, a bit dazed. He realizes the angel is looking at him and wonders why. The celestial being calls him a life elf and says he will take him along. With a disdainful look, he confirms he will take the MC with him. Our hero is terrified by the idea and tries to get away from the angel. The celestial being grabs him and asks what his favorite dream is. He holds the MC's face tightly and looks at him with an intense gaze. The angel says they will travel together to an endless world and welcomes him. With his eyes red with rage, the MC refuses to go with him. He yells that he's not going anywhere and launches an energy attack at the angel. Beatrice also attacks the angel and tells him to leave with a powerful blow. The angel calls her an inferior red elf and says she is worthless. Beatrice yells that he's wrong and that she is anything but common. The MC watches the scene with a serious and worried look for the commander. The angel calls her pathetic and says she doesn't even look like a real elf. The celestial being stares at her with a look of disdain and superiority. The angel then pierces an elf's armor with his bone staff. Beatrice says that even elves who betrayed their race can awaken their gifts. She reveals that the ancestor of the red elves was one of the blood elves. With a battle cry, she uses her blood magic and burns her own blood. She charges at the angel with a powerful punch engulfed in red energy. The angel praises her for her courage, but says the chance of her surpassing her limits is small. He says her blood power is weak and that the glory of the blood elves will never return. The angel says his goodbyes and prepares for the final blow against the elven commander. Beatrice regrets not being strong enough to protect him and prepares for the end. Suddenly, the MC appears and blocks the angel's attack with his body. The celestial being is shocked by the intervention and doesn't understand what happened. Beatrice stares at the angel, her red eyes glowing with pure rage. The celestial being watches the battle from above with a look of superiority. The MC says that as long as the sword doesn't touch him, there's nothing to fear. His system alerts him that his death rate has climbed to 98%. He grips the branch tightly and prepares to fight for his survival. With a determined look, he knows he needs to seize any chance he gets. The angel asks if he would rather perish with the elves than go with him. Beatrice says she will protect everything that belongs to the elves and that he will take nothing. The angel says he won't wait any longer and that the chief is almost done with the goblins. He charges at Beatrice and attacks her with a powerful blue energy. The celestial being stares at her with a look of pure rage and determination. He yells for her to perish and launches a devastating attack in her direction. The angel prepares for the final blow and the MC panics. Then, our hero realizes the angel isn't even using his sword to fight. He yells at the angel to back off and throws a sharp branch to protect her. The angel grabs Beatrice and throws her away with brutal force. At that, the MC intercepts the branch with his hand, stopping it from hitting the angel. The celestial being then pierces the chief's body with his sharp wings. He touches her leg with his cold hand and watches the blood drip. The chief's body falls from the sky in freefall as the angel watches from above. She hits the ground with a dull thud, her blood staining the battlefield. The MC is horrified by the scene and can't believe what he's seeing. The angel says he won't use his sword and gives our hero a choice. The MC's eyes glow with a red light of pure rage and hatred. The chief comforts him and tells him not to be afraid, as he did well. She says that as a life elf, he will bring vitality to the world. The angel watches the scene with a cold and distant look, showing no emotion. The chief declares that elves are the noblest race of all. She says that everything else will be erased and only the elves will remain. With an evil smile, she asks if that's not true, leaving the MC speechless. The MC closes his eyes and braces for what's to come. The chief says that as long as she is there, the angel will take nothing and no one.